there are like some tables though.
That's where I had my dinner the other night. The last time I was down there with you in December, you were having Narcoossee's. I grabbed Gasparillas and just ate out there, and it was gorgeous that night. It was beautiful.
Oh, that's a great spot to be because you can see the castle from there too. And
I sat there and just watched people go by and just ate I think I got like a burger and fries. Man, so good. They have good burgers there.
Yeah. And I feel like every counter service has like a great like outdoor spot.
Right. Here, let me pull it. Well, I don't need it yet. I'll get it for the next show. But the Mouse for Less has a website that Ricky keeps of like what's open right now. At least we talk about that and then kind of talk about stuff that hopefully will be. All right. Hey, everybody. Hey, Tanya, I used your Juju stuff that you sent me in the email. Tanya's awesome because she knew I had headaches. She gets headaches too.
Oh my God. I've been battling migraine for like 4 straight days.
Dude, you need this stuff. Tanya sent it to me. It's like, it's oil and it's in a tube and you roll it on your forehead and your temples. And it's like having an ice pack on your head or like, kind of like mint toothpaste. Like I feel like I have toothpaste on my head or something, but it feels good. Oh my gosh. I've been using it last headache.
I have to look into that.
I did take
last Wednesday, like I had to take the afternoon off because like I couldn't even like keep my eyes open or anything like on work.
Well, but I took one of them, but I usually have to take like migraine pills for like 3 days. I only had to take it once. That was awesome. Oh, Bob's in rainy, snowy Connecticut. Okay, we're talking questions. Okay, let's see. Got questions here. Capture your moment.
I record in like Emily's like school space now, so I'm just like trying to find like a sticky note because sometimes I take notes when you read the questions.
You bust out on the what she play, the clarinet.
The clarinet,
yeah. It'll be a little. Yeah, totally. You could play us in.
I can't even make a sound out of this thing.
Yeah, you could play it. It sounds great. If you can't play it, it sounds horrible.
Yeah. Well, she got a sax for Christmas. That's what she really wanted. So she's been playing on the saxophone.
Yeah. Now. I'll start calling her Lisa Simpson.
Yeah. Got to get her a saxophone Disney songbook.
Is it an alto sax? Is it an alto sax?
Yeah. Yeah, it is an alto. Yeah.
It's the best. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, it has such a good tone to it.
I was watching Love. He's still there. He's gone. No, I was watching Love Boat today, of course, and so the guy from Chips, Eric. On there, and he was a sax player, like he was the leader of the band on the ship, but he was like falling in love with some girl from high school that was on the cruise.
That's funny.
Until they tell you wasn't playing. Yeah,
dude, I like that Pluto TV.
Oh my gosh, I watch it all the time. It's great for the treadmill. You're right. You get 6 commercials over and over, but whatever.
I know. I feel like I know like all the medication I need for certain like there's so many like
and I'm gonna get my degree from Southern New Hampshire University.
Yes.
LA Masters.
Oh man. What's funny too, like I was watching Three's Company the other day and it was like the end of the episode. Like Jack and Larry are like doing this like funny little thing. Then it goes to the end credits. Then it went to commercials, and then it came back and went to the same scene again.
Yes, I love that. Like it'll play the last little 3 minutes twice sometimes. Yeah, not all the time. Sometimes. And also today on one of the episodes, I watched a bunch. Well, I listened to him while I'm working. Mr. Roper was Julie McCoy's dad, and they were getting a divorce. Yeah,
man,
their parents were getting a divorce. They went on the cruise to tell her. Yeah, I was a little upset there, but that's. Okay, holy cow. Bob's got a little Disney trivia for us. Boom. $21.40 for a bottle of wine. Wine Bar George.
$21.40.
I can't even think about that.
You could stay at the Polynesian for a few nights or enjoy this bottle of wine.
You can stay at Bob's Entry for a week.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Okay, here we go. Hey, gentlemen.
Or you can rent a car. No.
Yeah.
Not just kidding. Rental cars aren't that bad.
Okay. No. Because I'll tell you about. We're going down for cheerleading, and of course, guess what they picked again?
The B Hotel again.
Off-site, we're staying at the Bonnet Creek, Wyndham, which is bad. It's that big one right behind Pop Century.
You see it from the Riviera too. Like my preferred room was that basically when we stayed there.
This is better than the B. It has. Yeah. Well, I say that now. I've done a little research.
I feel like you're more on property. You're more like in the action. There,
yeah, you're right between Pop and Caribbean Beach.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm going to rent a car though. I think
I would.
Well, you can't do Magical Express because you're off property. So
I rent a car every trip now. It's like, once you do it, man, like it's so nice. But I love Disney transportation too.
I know, same. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, but I'm so ticked because they had a great rate at Coronado. I'm like, we had these packages. I'm like, that's a great rate. And they're like, we're just gonna step aside. I'm like, you guys are idiots. Twice. I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Because like even with Magical Express, like I would not have rented a car. I wouldn't have to pay parking. Like right there's a savings probably for the difference. Anyway,
just prepping you for 2022, and there's no Magical Express.
Exactly. Fired up, but whatever. It's for Mallory, it's not for me. I just gotta keep saying that. Yeah. Oh, dude, $175 an ounce. That's like contact fluid. Contact fluid's expensive. Or I had this little bottle of like 1 ounce stuff that you wash your contacts with, and it was like $12.
That reminds you of like the Louis Remy drinks they'll have at like Narcoossee's or any of the signature restaurant, where like that much for like $230. Like I would be like licking the shot glass, to make sure I get everything out of it.
I'd be stealing the shot glass. Dude, I mean, walking out with that baby. 5-finger discount. All right, here we go. Did I say that? You can tell I'm from St. Louis. That's what my kids would always say. I'm like, no, we're not doing the 5-finger discount. Give me back.
So we both have on like a Disney Nike hat. We're both wearing a Run Disney shirt. Yeah. It's like their uniforms.
This is what it's Monday, right? Yeah. I got a running shirt on under it, and then I got a jacket on because it was cold.
I do have a polo on this, because I had to try to look professional at work.
Right. Yeah, I dress for success. This is it. I have shoes on. Okay, so you have questions, we have answers. Put them in the chat. We need them. Okay, here we go. 18. I can't read my writing. 54. Here we go. Welcome to episode 1854 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. Hope everybody is having a great week and thawing out from last week. I mean, if you're here in the States, what a difference 1 week can make. So I hope our friends down in Texas and the Gulf Coast, you're recovering from that big mess you had last week. I know you guys had a lot of difficulties. Here in the Midwest, we're going to be up to about 60 today, which is crazy because last week 6 would have been fine. So we're hanging in there. And you know what? This kind of weather, honestly, this time of year just has me dreaming of my next Disney trip. It makes me want to get down to Florida, see some green, see some palm trees, and have a good time at my favorite place. And today, of course, we're going to be answering your listener questions. And speaking of Florida, let me just tell you this. Ricky and Pam, they did it right. They must have known that the cold weather was coming, the mess across the United States, and both of them headed down to Walt Disney World and just said, Mike, well, you're not invited. We're just going down and we're going to have some fun. So they're not here, but no worries. My buddy #ScottyG's joining us today to answer your listener questions. And I have it on good authority that if you have the perfect listener question, this gentleman will jump into a bank of snow to show his appreciation because he did that today up in Michigan for his folks he works with at his job. What's up, Scott? I couldn't believe the video.
Hey, Mike, thanks for having me once again. And yeah, why are we here in the Midwest when our friends are down in Florida right now? That's just not fair. But I can't complain because I've been down in Florida a lot lately, so I'll let this one slide.
Yeah, I know it's one of those things, once we're getting obviously St. Louis baseball town. We have Nolan Arenado, so we're hearing all about him and Wainwright and Yachty are back. And so it's just constant baseball news, which is great for me because that's my thing. But, you see these spring training reports and you're just like, oh, man, you see palm trees in the back, people playing baseball, short sleeves, shorts. And honestly, this time of year, it reminds me of Disney. I just want to get back.
Yep, for sure. And I always tease you about this, but you do realize that the Midwest is a really big area, and it's not gonna be 60 in my part of the Midwest. But
so it's not making it up your way. I thought it might, 50s or something.
It's gonna be the 40s though, which I will take over what we've had the last couple of weeks.
Absolutely. Yes. All right. So we are going to jump into today's questions, but before we do that, Dr. Mike coming to visit, we have a suggestion from listener Morgan. So again, keeping you from being a basic Disney fan, it's like those commercials with Dr. Rick on TV. And here's the suggestion. Dr. Mike says, we don't need to see all your pictures and videos from the safari in Animal Kingdom. We know what the animals look like. Enjoy your safari and don't worry about us. There you go. That's true. I mean, and I look back at my first, and this, I'm not shaming anybody here. Let me just say, but when I look back at my trip from like, because Google Photos, right, always shows your pictures like, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, 2 years ago stuff. And I will see that about 14 or 15 years ago, I just see, because again, phones have gotten way better in that time. I just see like blurry pictures of like a giraffe or that ghost of the jungle or whatever, that one, or the copy or whatever that you're not supposed to see. They're terrible pictures. And then one day it did click on the same thing. Morgan just said, man, if I want to see a picture of a giraffe, like I can just go to the internet and see a giraffe. Like, I know it's kind of cool, but I've kind of I just take it in now. I'm not good at taking pictures.
Oh man, I'm so with you on that. And my wife, Elizabeth, will admit, like, she falls into this trap. We're in the queue every time. She's like, I'm not getting the camera out. I'm not getting my phone out. I'm not going to take any photos because we have 10,000 photos of all these animals, front side, back side, sideways, whatever, you name it. We have every angle. And then sure enough, we're halfway through. She's like, oh, I got to get my phone out. I got to get a photo of this.
Well, because you get FOMO, right? You see somebody in front of you, like, and it's like, okay, do I need to take a picture of that giraffe? No.
And the same with like a zoo. So I've been doing like a deep dive into our Google Photos, doing a lot of organization and labeling things. And we used to take our daughter Emily to the zoo all the time, like so many different zoos. And I'm like, oh my God, how many photos of different peacocks do we have? So I ended up deleting a bunch and just keeping the ones where she's in it, right? Because then, like, when the people are in it, it's great because then you can see like how they grow over time and things like that. Oh, there's 2-year-old Emily. But like, if it's just the animal and nothing else exciting in the background, like, I have way too many of those photos.
And just a public service announcement. Remember, Google Photos will start charging for backup on June 1st, 2021. So those free backups, because I have all kinds of stupid pictures in there, all those, when you do an Instagram post, you got like 3 copies of everything. I don't care. It's on Google Photos, but I'll stop doing that here soon. So yeah. Okay. So let's hop in here with our first question. And it is from Angie. She says, I have serious anxiety about trying to get Rise of the Resistance boarding passes in late March. We're only spending 1 day in Hollywood Studios, so no room for errors. Any tips? Okay, I will say, and this is not going to help Angie's anxiety. I know. Sorry, Angie. When I go down, I always have like 2 days that I make a theme park reservation for the studios, so that if I don't get it on the first, and it's never happened, I've always gotten it. God, I need like a big piece of wood around, and this is fake wood, but it's one of those things. Like I always have a backup. Like I can, swap out if I get the boarding group, I'll switch to Magic Kingdom, because you want to have studios over anything else, because studios is the hardest theme park reservation to get. You can always flip it over to Epcot or something if you get it and you don't want to go to the studios again. But I always have 2. With 1 day though, it's like, I get it. The anxiety. So Scott, you've been through this many times. What would you tell Angie to set her up for the most success?
Yeah. So I think we've kind of said it a couple times on the podcast, but I'll bring it up again, is using your watch. Like, even if you have like an Apple Watch, there's a mode that shows like the seconds. If you have a Garmin, there's a second mode, and you have a regular watch, you should be able to see the seconds, and just try to time that. Don't do the Ricky way where I'm going to count the seconds in my head. No, I don't trust that.
I know we shouldn't talk about her because she's not here, but seriously, come on now. She's like Grandma Ricky. Like, okay, let's use technology. It's with us. Come on.
Yeah. So that would be my recommendation. Like, to get it at 7:00. You hear a lot of people say, like, turn the Wi-Fi off or leave the Wi-Fi on. My preference is I usually turn it off.
I do too.
And I normally leave the room.
Yeah. Like, I do too, because it's places like Caribbean Beach are notorious for those walls, and those in Top Century too. Yeah. Those walls are like thick. And all you need is like 5 seconds of like no connection, and you are out of luck. So I go out by the lake, where it's wide open.
So it's a double win because, as you know, Mike, you do the same thing. I like to walk or run in the morning. I love resorts in the morning. It's so quiet. It's so peaceful. So get out a little early. Even if you get out at like 6:50 or something, you're still getting out in plenty of time. You can get away from the room, enjoy some quiet, and then just kind of count down those seconds and just hope for the best. The good thing is now it kind of pre-selects your party group, so you don't have to spend time doing that. I will say the last time I tried to do this, I had to like log in. So I would try logging into the app first to make sure you're in, because I went to go for the boarding group. I had to enter my password, and at that point I was done. But I always know that there's the shot at 1:00 too. So as long as you plan on being at the studios all day, always remember there could be a potential as long as the ride is like moving good for the day. There hasn't been any downtime. There's also a second shot at 1 o'clock.
Absolutely. Good tip. And, like you said it, like last time I was out running, I get up, 5:30 or so and I run. I just set an alarm on my watch at 6:55 to remind me to stop running. And then, like you say, make sure I'm logged in, make sure everything's good to go. And then I'm outside already, just step outside though. Just be careful of being in the room. Yep. It just makes me nervous.
Yep. And Angie, if you listen to a live show we did the other day, Mike and I kind of teased the whole process of like, you're like, I respect that you're like so freaking out about this because like if you've never done before too, like this is your one shot. So I totally respect that you're nervous and freaking out about it, but it really does come down to just that click of the button, So try not to be too anxious about it.
And it's so much better now that you're not in the theme park. Like it was like winners and losers when you had to be in the theme park, right? Because you'd see people, yeah, and then if like you didn't have it, you're just like,
yeah. You still may see it at the resort. I'll tell you, when I was at the boardwalk, when I was at Beach Club and I was doing my morning walk, or run, I was over by the boardwalk and it was the time I had to log in. All of a sudden I hear some yays coming from some of the villas. So you still might hear a little bit. It just won't be as intense.
The force was with us. Okay, here we go. Kristen says, if you could only do one restaurant at Coronado Springs, which would it be? Now, of course, right now, Coronado's got a lot of great dining options, right? But right now, we don't have Maya Grill open. I don't think. I need to check on that, but I don't think it's open. You have Three Bridges. That is open. You don't have Toledo's. That is not open, but that was getting rave reviews before it shut down. So those are the 3 table service restaurants, right?
Rick's. There's Rick's Cafe.
Rick's on. Yep. And then you have, of course, like the old Pepper Market, El Mercado del Coronado. So right now we have Rick's Cafe and Three Bridges at this point for dining. So you don't really have a lot of, whole lot of choices. Under normal circumstances, though, which one are you taking?
This is going to be a weird answer, and we're going to talk about it on Friday's show too, actually. But I'm going with a place I still haven't been to, and that's Three Bridges, because I just hear nothing but fantastic things about the food, the cocktails, and number one, the atmosphere. So that wins it for me, even though I'm a big fan of Maya Grill.
I'm a fan of Maya Grill. Don't get me wrong. I love Maya Grill for years, was my favorite restaurant on property. But restaurants need to change their menus. I get it. They get new chefs and they just want to try new things. But man, their menu wasn't they made changes that, again, it's different strokes for different folks. But I think they changed it for the worse the last time. But who knows when it reopens? Maybe they'll go back, because I think they took away the Margarita flight. They took away
the Margarita flight is gone.
Yeah,
my favorite margarita on Disney property was this. And the day that we're recording this, a couple days early, is National Margarita Day.
Right, you gotta celebrate that, baby.
But it was the jalapeno margarita was fantastic at Maya Grill. You can still get them at other places on property, but Maya Grill had the best one, and then they took it away. Then they took the flight away. Kind of disappointing. And then I don't like it when you have to, even if you just want regular like chips and salsa, like I don't know why this bugs me, but then they charge you like $6 just for like the chips and salsa. Like
we tear up some chips and salsa, so it should be on the house. If you're having margaritas, you should get the chips and guac, or not guac, but the chips.
Yeah, the guac is totally different game, or the queso is a totally different story. But if you just want regular like chips and salsa, come on, man, make that complimentary like you do with bread at other places.
Yeah, amen. There you go. All right, Dan Cameron's got a question here in the live chat. He says, where would you recommend a cheerleading team stay? Coronado or Bonnet Creek? Okay, Dan is now banned from the chat.
That's fantastic.
That hits a little too close to home. We'll talk about that later. Okay, Len, my good buddy, says, if you park hop to Hollywood Studios, is it possible to get a Rise boarding group? Unfortunately, not. That is the negative to hopping over to the studios.
And the reason is because you can't hop until 2:00.
Right.
And the last boarding group is at 1:00. Or the last time you can try to get one.
Yes. But I mean, I would think that park honestly would start. I don't know though, because I haven't been there since my last trip was in December. I'll be back in April. I would guess though that park's going to start to, people after 1:00, if they don't get that second boarding group, they might file out and go over to Epcot or, go somewhere else, go back to the resort. I think in the evening it'll be, low crowds.
It's a great park to park hop to. So we did it. So we park hopped over there our last trip, and this is just how the Gardeners roll, man. We hopped over there just to ride a friendship boat and grab a Starbucks. But
it's the best Starbucks on property.
It is. I think we ended up riding Rock and Roller Coaster though, because the wait times are ridiculously low. So it was a couple hours before dinner, and we wanted to take a Skyliner over to Topolino. So like, hey, let's hop to the studios, get a coffee. And you're right, the crowds just seemed so much lower than they typically would be like during midday. I think the park hopping has helped for that.
Absolutely. All right, Diana's got a question. If is Ratatouille going to be an e-ticket attraction? Wondering if that's how they'll avoid giant lines in France. So, of course, it will be an e-ticket attraction, which is just kind of, I think e-ticket attraction is just a term for like, you know, a headliner or, you know, some big involved attraction like a Flight of Passage or Expedition Everest or something like that. So what I'm thinking Diane might be asking is like, will it have a virtual queue possibly on the lines of like a Rise the Resistance, which again, speculation here. Disney doesn't tell me anything and Ricky's not, they don't tell Ricky either, but we just pretend like they do. But I would guess that it'll have a traditional queue, but it is kind of, I mean, there's a little bit of, there's a decent amount of room back there in that new pad that they built the attraction on. I don't know. What do you, I mean, because it's going to have a huge demand right out of the gates. What do you think?
It's going to have a huge demand. And so what we can compare it to, so what have been the last three biggest attractions that have come on board? Rise of the Resistance, which has the virtual queue, and then Mickey and Minnie's, which does not. But that's a huge space there, right? At the Chinese theater, where a lot more real estate there, I feel, than Ratatouille. And then you got to think that they already know that they have to have 6 feet spacing when they do this queue. So I really can't predict on this one. I could see it going both ways for sure. I would lean towards, I think right now I would actually lean towards a virtual queue, because I've kind of been back there, and I mean, I don't know. They still have walls up, so I don't know how deep it goes, but I think it can be tight in there.
Actually, I've been back there this was like 4 or 5 years ago. Pam gave me this. It was a tour. Because she always got me tours for our anniversary. We went down in the summer because our anniversary is in June. And this one was at Epcot. And I think it was called Undiscovered World Showcase or something like that. And the thing was, I did a trip report on it years ago. It was just me and this couple that didn't speak English from like Japan. So I got all this attention, right? It was 3 of us and like one guide, and the other couple didn't speak English, you know, but they just kind of did the best they could. And we went all through World Showcase. They went into the pavilions, told us about, you know, what the warriors mean in China on top of the buildings and what all this decoration means, and you know who that is in Germany on the statue in the town square and all that. But we did go back behind. Actually, they told us they're going to put a Ratatouille ride in like 4 or 5 years ago, and they took us back behind France to see like where they're going to do it and all this stuff. And there's a decent amount of space, but you know what? I think, am I missing something? But I thought about a year ago, maybe right before COVID, Disney had kind of teased that this virtual queue system might be something they use for more than just Rise. I think that they were kind of getting us not accustomed, but maybe prepared for a system.
Getting us on board.
Yeah, I mean, just getting us, right. Getting us ready, though. And I think, because it could be tight back there, especially in social distancing time.
I think it's just going to be tight. I just think in a COVID world, I'm just picturing like France, like at full capacity, like that pavilion is always jam-packed. And granted, they are making it larger now, but then I just think like it's going to draw that many more people to it. Like, I'm very curious how this is all going to look. I'm excited for it.
That's it. Okay. Tanya's got a great question. She's down in Nashville, and she says, if you're going to the Magic Kingdom on October 1st, what's your must-do list? Okay. I haven't even thought about this, right? Who knows? Here's what I'm thinking. What if you do what if you have a goal? And again, it's going to be a nut house. That will be the capacity, no matter, even if there's no capacity limits, it'll still be closed. It'll be packed. But what if your goal was for that day to do all the opening day attractions? Because you know what? They might not have the longest lines, because then you're skipping Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. You're skipping Space Mountain. You're skipping. So what if you do, I'm trying to think, like Carousel Progress isn't even an opening day attraction, right? That came from Disneyland. But I mean, that would limit you. What if you started out with a goal of doing all the opening day attraction stuff that was there from day one, and then go from there? But how many attractions would that? Somebody needs to come up with that and just come up with a list, and then we could see what it looks like.
That's so funny, because that was going to be my answer. So I can't remember which podcast cruise it was. It was in 2015. After we disembarked, Disneyland's 60th kicked off maybe a few days later, July 17th, 2015. And my family and I, we were in Magic Kingdom, and And we thought, how could we honor like Disneyland's 60th? We're not actually there. We know we're going to be there later, but what can we do today? So that's what we did. We did all of Disneyland's attractions that were at Magic Kingdom that were opening day. So we did like the Tomorrowland Speedway. I think Peter Pan's Flight might have been another one. So I just pulled up a list basically of what was the opening day attractions at Disneyland and compared to Magic Kingdom and try to do the like for like transaction. And I would definitely want to do something like that on October 1st.
I wonder how many there are though. Like that's one thing, I know all these Disney trivia things, right? I mean, we're all like on Twitter all day and, reading blogs all the time as Disney fans, but I don't have a solid number. And I wouldn't think it's that many now that I think about it, because like Pirates, even the ones you would think, like Pirates at Walt Disney World's not an opening day attraction.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. So it'd be totally different, right? When we were at Magic Kingdom doing this for Disneyland, because Disneyland, like, I don't know, like it would have been tough because there's different things that are at both parks. So I would love to see a list. If someone doesn't produce it now, I think that's going to be my homework assignment tonight.
We got to figure this out because I'm on this. Yeah, that's it. And then we come up with like the best touring plan to see these things that day. Yeah, because
then there's obvious things like, you'll want to do, maybe get a Mickey sandwich or a Mickey bar, or obviously take a selfie in front of the castles. Yep. Partner statue, things like that too.
And there'll be a ceremony in front of the castle. There was for the 40th. It was crazy. Something like that. Yeah. Yeah. Good idea. I didn't even think about that, Tanya. It's a great got us thinking. Good to be prepared. Awesome. All right. Julie Fisher in our live chat has a question. She says, we're doing a split stay end of March, 5 nights at Pop, 3 nights at a place we both love, Old Key West. We're driving this year from Missouri. I know that place. Our park day on the resort swap day is Hollywood Studios. The plan was to ride the Skyliner to and from the park and then drive over to Old Key West. Is it okay to leave the truck at Pop all day? Yes, because you're still a Pop resident. You're not a resident. You're at Pop Century, so they're not going to say anything. Just hop back over there, grab the truck when you're ready. Mm-hmm. The thing is, like, I know that Disney, they lead you to believe that, they go around and they know exactly how long every car is in every spot, right? They tell you that. They don't. I mean, I'm not saying you should, do anything shady, but I mean, they're not going, just think about the logistics of trying to keep track of everybody's car. You can leave it there for a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I like the term resident, by the way, though, because when you hop over to Old Key West, like, you feel like a resident because, like, you're like in this town, this village, the Conch Flats. And you're going to feel really great having your vehicle there because it is the best car-friendly resort, in my opinion.
All right, let's get to the inbox here. And let's see. Maurice has a question for us. She says, hey, Mike, I hope you're doing great. We have an upcoming trip to Disney, including 5 17-year-old girls. Oh, man. My 12-year-old nephew, my older daughter, and myself, a wonderful party of 8. Of course, the pandemic hit our project, and we postponed it from June of 21 to January of 2022. We won't be vaccinated until the end of summer. Do you know about Capture Your Moment experience with a Disney photographer? Ever had the chance to experience it? The photo session seems to be short, but I trust Disney's seasoned photographers to be able to get the best out of this. I'm looking for a little something to offer the 5 17-year-old girls as a surprise, and this looked like a nice option, perfectly suited for this Instagram generation. I haven't seen any pricing on the My Disney Experience app, not even a range. We need to call to get the info. Do you have any idea on the price of this for 5 girls? If this option doesn't work, could you recommend other experiences that I could book for the girls as a surprise? I'm looking for something not too pricey, lots of girls to cover, and I'm working in Canadian dollars. I thought about the balloon flight in Disney Springs. Not me, man. That thing scares me. But it's something more difficult to plan as it's weather related. Would love to listen to your thoughts on this. And if you have any general advice on how to successfully plan a surprise at Disney. Thank you, Maurice. Okay. Now, I have heard about this. I don't know the pricing. But everybody that has done this, and it's kind of like a little secret thing, where you can get a photographer. I think it's like 30 minutes. It's really short. And they meet you like on the beach at the Polynesian, or there's various places you can go if you're looking this up. But you get, it's not like a wedding photographer. I believe it's like it's from what I've been told, it's kind of a step between like your typical PhotoPass photographer and like somebody that's more professional, kind of somebody that's obviously got some kind of good ratings. They're really good at what they do. Like say like a Kim Taylor. She does shoot PhotoPass, but I mean, her stuff is like incredible. She should be shooting, as art, she should be doing like weddings and stuff. Anyway, they meet you and they really do maximize that time. And I think this is a great idea for 17-year-old girls that want to get some images for Instagram. But remember, they could also take their own, because they're going to be taking the trip, go to the, the bubblegum wall and the purple wall. There's so many photographic places now at Walt Disney World that you could do that a lot on your phone, but it would be an experience to do this. So I would recommend it. Now, did you find anything? I saw you clicking away or seeing.
No, I was just taking down some notes, but I've heard of this, and I really want to do it for our daughter for her senior photos when she gets her senior year of high school. This is totally something I want to do. We actually had some friends and listeners of the show that have done it as well. I don't have any personal experience with it, so cost wise and how great it is, like I'm not 100% sure there, but I like the idea. I will just throw out there, you're talking January 2022. Masks could still be a thing, which is totally fine. But I feel like even in this instance, the mask rule would still apply if it's resort wide still at that point, because that's how PhotoPass works today. Like you have to keep your mask on still for those photos. So that's just something to think about as well.
Yeah. But I mean, I love this idea. I think the girls will think that it's not even the pictures, right? The girls can take probably really cool pictures of each other. They probably do it 8,000 times a day if they're like my daughter. But it's just that they have somebody there directing them. It's like a professional photo shoot. It's an experience. It's very cool. I like it. All right. Bob's got a question. He's in here. He was talking about wine earlier, super expensive wine, which I couldn't even imagine, like $2,000 an ounce. That's just ridiculous. But I guess that's your thing. He says, if you're doing a split stay during a marathon weekend, let's see, the week after, would you stay in Yacht Club during the race weekend, then the Riviera, or the other way around? So I guess over marathon weekend, would you do Yacht Riv or Riv Yacht? Which way would you go, Scott? Because these are both two of our favorite.
Ooh, man, that is tough. I think for transportation purposes, I would do the Yacht first. And then plus I love the pool. I mean, not that you want to go like do some crazy swimming after like a race, but there's plenty of like great hot tubs around and more spacious, I feel like, at the Yacht Club. So if you just want to, I think it's a better resort for the race weekends and for the transportation too. So if you finish like the half and then you just want to get back to your resort instead of taking a bus, you can walk through Epcot if you have a ticket for that day. That's going to be interesting too. I didn't think about that with the park reservation system. Like if you want to do that workaround, like you'd have to have Epcot reserved.
Think about that. That stinks.
Yeah.
Oh, that stinks.
Or you'd have, and then that would be your time until 2:00 until you can park hop again. Oh, I just thought about that. I was like mid thought there, but I like the idea of Yacht, Riviera. Both of them are like two of my favorites. So I always like to do the favorite on the back end. And I think at this moment, Riviera might just have that edge a little bit. So I would go Yacht Riviera. How about you, Mike?
Yeah, I think I do the same. The practical reasons, I love after the half and the full just to walk through Epcot, grab something to eat, go back to the hotel and shower. Not if you get on a bus. That's a win. But you just rained on my parade with that theme park reservation thing. But yeah, the Riv is kind of the new hotness, right? You want to get over there, but I want to experience it. You got two resorts and you got the Skyliner right there, and it's yeah, I would do Yacht then Riviera too. But I mean, either way,
you're winning, because those are like I just stayed at the Yacht Club and the Riviera, and I love both of them so much. There's great transportation, great dining. You have that close proximity to Epcot and the studios. Just you can't lose in that situation. You really can't.
Absolutely not. All right, Rebecca and Daniel in Delaware have a question in the inbox. Hey, BOGPers. We're wondering about Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar. We listened to several different Disney podcasts, yours being our favorite, of course. Thank you. And never hear much about it. Seems like such fun theming, and we're thinking of stopping on our Disney Springs Day. So what's your verdict? Do they have bad dates or only good ones? And I'll be again, I shouldn't say this. I've only seen parts of Raiders of the Lost Ark or whatever this is based on, Indiana Jones, right?
Yeah, it's Indiana Jones. Yeah. It's more tied to the first film. Yeah.
Okay. Because I was there for the media event when they opened this, and they were telling us the backstory of it and all that stuff, and giving us all the food. But I wasn't paying it. I was just eating the food. And
it's a really deep backstory for a character that's only like mentioned like in the first movie.
I thought too. They were totally into like, yeah. They even said that they're like, you know, if you are like way into this, like you can, you know, get into the canon. But I was just like, it's a cool looking place. Like for somebody that doesn't know the movie, like most people do, it's cool. That's a cool little bar.
It's a cool spot. I've been there a couple times. Some unique cocktails. Just it kind of reminds you of like a Trader Sam's ish, kind of. You know, like there's some. I mean, there's not mugs that you can buy, to my knowledge. I could be wrong on there, but it's kind of small. But it does like have a like an outdoor patio in the back, and that's where I would recommend if it's like a nice breezy day. You know, just sit out back and look at the like the water. I think that'd be a great spot. I highly recommend it. They have some crafty cocktails for sure.
They do, and they have tons of. So when they were explaining the place to us, you know, there the day before it opened, they were showing us like, again, it's kind of like Adventurers Club. There was stuff hidden, like you'll look at there'll be a couple books in like a bookshelf, but like the names of the books will be some random reference to some like one-liner from the movie. So, you know, make your way if you go in. And you're, you know, waiting a few minutes, just walk around the place and look at all the trinkets. There's even stuff on the ceiling hanging down. It's almost like, yeah, it's like an Adventurers Club or like a Jungle Cruise queue kind of feel.
Yeah, the decor is really cool in there. Yeah, it's a great spot if you're doing some lounge hopping or just spending some time. If you're trying to, you know, have a 2-hour virtual queue for some cookies or some donuts, you know, just hop over to Jock Lindsay's and spend some time. Good spot to be.
All right, my good buddy Christopher says booked a 4-day, 3-night mini moon after our destination wedding this October. We splurged and went with a 1-bedroom suite at the Riv, but for a similar price, we can do a deluxe studio theme park view at Bay Lake Tower. Curious for your take on pros and cons of each. Either would be our first deluxe experience. Thanks, guys. Chris. Oh man, again, you guys are killing us with the yacht Riv.
I just had this experience, Mike.
That's all you.
Remember, I had a theme park view room for like Elizabeth's birthday, and then I ended up moving it over to a 1-bedroom at the Riviera.
Yep.
Basically, I would go. It was a theme park room, I believe. Was the
let's see. He has a 1-bedroom at the Riv, and he can do a deluxe studio theme park view Bay Lake Tower. Okay.
Riviera all the way for me.
Yeah.
I love the transportation is great, and I guess it kind of depends on your touring. Maybe you could. What is it? Only 3 nights. That's a tough one to do a split on. So you want to have the same home base the whole trip. I choose the Riv, and I don't want to like stir any issues here, but I'm not the biggest fan of the theme park view room because to me, honestly, it's more of a parking lot view room.
You gotta look over.
I know.
That's why they're remodeling the main tower this summer at Caribbean Beach. They're going to make it somehow so you don't see the parking. No, I don't.
Yeah. No, and I get it. Like it's cool to like see Space Mountain at night all lit up and the castle lit up for sure. But the 1-bedroom at the Riviera is fantastic. Mike, you just spent a night there too recently.
That extra, and now I'm saying if they're on a mini moon, just them two. Hopefully nobody's sleeping on the pull down. I'm just saying, but it was comfortable.
God, could you imagine? Like that means there was a big argument if someone's sleeping on that pull down.
Exactly it. Let's hope that this is you pull it down for the novelty of it and you put it right back up. So yeah, no, I would say, but either way, again,
you can't. Yeah, this is man, these would you rathers are so tough. You can't lose in either of these situations. But I have to give the edge to the Riviera. I just love the space in the 1-bedroom and just love the resort.
All right, Len's got a question with this simple one. If you're planning the next Skyliner station, where would you build it? And I have a definite answer for this one. So I'm going to go first on this. I'm just going to say,
yeah, let's hear it. I want to hear it.
It's Disney Springs. And there needs to be a line, maybe somehow it could connect to Old Key West. And even I see a line that maybe connects in over to it goes like the Terminator for that one is Disney Springs, but somehow it swings by Old Key West and then bends to French Quarter and Port Orleans. Almost like a Sassagoula, but you got the boat right, for Disney Springs, but it would connect somehow so you can get back over to Caribbean Beach and that hub. But I think, it would make sense, right? Because the only reason people are going to Disney Springs is to spend more money. They're going to dine, they're going to buy stuff. And I think that's got to be on the board somewhere. What do you think?
For sure. I love the Disney Springs idea. I would just, I mean, this would be a great show topic where we like get out maps, and like we really look at like a Google map of the whole resort and try to like put some lines on it and try to come up with stations. But I would love to have an easy way to get to Animal Kingdom from the Animal Kingdom Lodge.
That's good.
Like it is right there. Like I don't think Skyliner is even the way. Like maybe there's a walking path they could do down the future or some kind of tram instead of like the bus. But like it is right there next to the Animal Kingdom Park, and I would just love to see some type of improvement in transportation there.
Almost like just like a boat or something, right? You just build a channel or something just to because because Animal Kingdom's kind of exotic and just kind of an exotic like Jungle Cruise type theme looking boat. Yeah.
Interesting. Like now I want to take a look at like the maps. Like what if there was like an international gateway kind of entrance to Animal Kingdom like that? That would be like a boat. Like it takes you to like a different entrance. That would really be neat.
That'd be super cool. I mean, for years, Len Testa talked about this, how close Caribbean Beach is to Epcot.
Oh, yeah.
Saying that they're probably going to take that lake that's in the middle of Caribbean Beach and just dig it out a little further. And you can go right into the backside of World Showcase and, have like a boat entrance into there.
Totally.
Skyliner took care of that, but yeah.
Yeah. I remember that because like, I think China is like right there. Like you could have like a crosswalk over like Lake Buena Vista Drive or whatever to Caribbean Beach and just get there in like 10 minutes, And
that's what's cool about the Skyliner, is not to kill this tangent, but like, when you ride Skyliner as a Disney geek, you really get to see like the lay of the land and how close things, because when you see things on a map, you have a different perspective than when you're up in the air, especially on that line from Caribbean Beach over to Epcot. You see, man, you are really close to stuff when you don't. Disney hides it, but when you're up in the air, you can see it.
It's cool. I mean, they can't hide that at that point. But you're right. Like, I love that line because you pretty much take Buena Vista Drive like all the way through, so you see all World Showcase, and you're like, dang, like I drive on this road all the time. I didn't realize like Mexico was like right there. Like Mexico is like right behind that sign on the corner there, where like Goofy is like driving like a red van or whatever. Like Mexico is right behind that.
Yes, it is. All right. Tammy Orr's got a great question. Go Tigers. Clemson. Looks like. Oh, it's Tigger. Oh, it's Tigger and the Tigers. I see what she's doing here in her avatar. She says, Mike, Scotty G, when do y'all think the rest of the Magic Kingdom restaurants will be back open? I mean, I've said this with my guests at the Magic for Less a lot. I mean, they'll obviously be back open when the parks can be at full capacity. Disney wants those restaurants open more than anything else because dining is a revenue source. But they got to keep the guests safe and they got to comply with the, they call it physical distancing, not social distancing, physical distancing rules. And I think they're doing a good job. I mean, we're getting restaurants here and there. They're going as quick as they can. What would you say? I mean, this is a really tough question, but I mean, if you had to put like a date range, what would you say?
That's tough. Like you just hit all the good points there, Mike. Maybe for the 50th, October 1st, maybe we see some more restaurants open up.
Yeah. They're going to need them.
They are going to need them.
All right. Here's a good one for you. Julie Fisher says, what area in Old Key West should we request? It's their first time stay at the Old Key West. Where are you staying, Scott?
I wrote that question down in case if you didn't get to it, where I would like contact Julie off to the side. And I still might have to, because what I really like at Old Key West is kind of being in the back of the resort. And I know they have a car, and I can give you some building numbers. I just had to do a little research, but I love being on the golf course. I love a golf course view. There's something about just, and the balconies at Old Key West are fantastic. I don't know if they're in a studio or a one bedroom, but even the studios have a nice balcony with a couple chairs. The one bedrooms are great because there's an actual table out there with 4 chairs. You can actually have breakfast and such. But I really like the golf course views. I want to say like building 42 or 44 is really jumping out to me, and I can do some more research and reach out to Julie like on another episode and answer that.
Cool. Yeah, dude. Honestly, it's just I love the golf course views. It feels so I don't know. It just feels fancy.
Yeah.
So
I love the golf course views, and I love like the Turtle Pond pool. So I like being in the Turtle Pond area basically, which is in the back of the resort.
Let's see, Pam. A little follow-up. She says she did that Capture the Magic photo experience in November 2019. She said 30 minutes at a resort was $150 for a family of 5. So if you boil it down, it's $30 a person. Park was more expensive. So there you go. I mean, I think you got, 150 is expensive, but for 5 people, maybe not. Cool. And Dan has done some research. Now, I don't have this backed up, but he says 12 or 13, he thinks, attractions for opening day at Magic Kingdom. He says Haunted Mansion, Country Bears, Dumbo, Shooting Gallery, Hall of Presidents, Carousel, Small World, Jungle Cruise, the Teacups, the Treehouse, the Speedway, and the Railroad.
That sounds right. That sounds pretty accurate.
And he says Tiki Room. Yeah, Tiki Room too. Yeah, I did that. Okay, so you know what? We are just about out of time, but let's see here. I think we have one more in the inbox here. Megan says, hey, BOGP crew, I have some questions for you. My family's headed down to Disney for spring break. This will be our first trip with our daughter, who will be a year and a half. My husband and I haven't been in 3 years, so we're super excited to head back. My questions are, number one, I remember seeing a build your own Mr. Potato Head set with Disney themed parts and pieces to add to Mr. Potato Head. Was this my imagination or does this exist? This would be great to add to my daughter's future toy collection. If it does exist, what is this? Is this process still happening with COVID? Now, did they not have this at Once Upon a Toy? Now they had the potato heads, but were they Disney? Hey, they were. They had like little Mickey ear hats and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, that sounds about right to me.
Cool. Yeah, so I think it was at Once Upon a Toy. Now I don't know if they're doing that with COVID though. They're building the droids though at the studios.
That's true.
I don't know.
We might have to do some more research on that. Ricky's like, Ricky would be perfect for this. She probably would know the answer, but
right. I would just swing by Once Upon a Toy either way. You can buy the parts and just. Number two, are refillable mugs an option still in the time of COVID? I love walking to get coffee for my husband and I in the mornings. Yeah, they are.
Yeah, right? They are. It's just a different process. You can't go up to the machine and get it yourself. There's a cast member who will. I don't know if they actually take the mug from you or if they give you like a cup and then you can pour it in. I think they might take the mug. I personally haven't done it, but I've kind of seen the process. But basically, you just go up to the cast member and say, "Yeah, I want this beverage," and they get it for you.
Yeah, I don't think you just kind of show them the mug. You show, here's my mug. They give you this paper cup. You dump it in. Yeah. You can get the refillable mugs. And her last question, she says, tips for napping in a stroller. Well, I like to stretch out, and push the thing back. She says, we're not midday break people, but we may need to be with our daughter now, trying to keep an open mind and our plans flexible for naps and breaks as needed. We're glad park hopping is back, so we are planning to park hop after naps, whether we're back at the room or hanging out in the parks. Thanks again for all the joy you bring to us. Megan is in Raleigh, North Carolina. All right, so we both had kids that napped, and many times in the stroller, I had to say, again, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, a nice umbrella stroller that reclines all the way is kind of the way to go.
Yep. And then just trying to find like a quiet spot. Like I keep thinking of like Tortuga Tavern, Mike. I remember you and I spent like an hour and a half there once just relaxing and chatting, and it was a nice quiet spot until like all the Sorcerer of the Magic Kingdom traders came in. But just trying to find like a quiet spot. Yeah, the baby care centers might be a good area because those are usually quiet, like back in that little corner, like they're kind of like tucked away. Just try to find like a tucked away place to relax, sit down, and let the child have a nap.
Yeah, it is. Definitely that's a good time to kind of catch a meal too. Like while the kid's napping, just find a shady spot or just roll into a counter service place and let them sleep. And don't wake them up. Don't poke the bear. That's what I've learned. Do not poke the bear. You'll regret it. All right. That's going to be it for today's Listener Question Show. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We got through a lot of topics today, which was a lot of fun. Thank you for all the great questions and the great comments and great escape to talk Disney. Don't forget today's show, as always, here on a Wednesday, brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. Check them out. We're booking a lot of last minute trips for folks that need to get out of the snow and cold and down to Walt Disney World for spring break. We can do that for you right now. We can set you up for next week, next year, whatever you want. So just drop by the magicforless.com, see all the specials, all the trip planning tools. While you're there, fill out that quote form, mention the Be Our Guest podcast, and where it says, where did you hear about us? Well, you heard about us right here on the Be Our Guest podcast. And when that happens, I'll be in contact with you right away. And we'll look at some numbers and some availability and see if we can work that out for you. And we really appreciate it so much. So check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Also, please use our Amazon affiliate link. It's a free way to support the show, and it really does help anytime you shop online with the big Amazon. Just click through beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And finally, thanks to all of our patrons. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you so very much. You're carrying the show while travel's down just a bit. Thank you again. And if you want to become a patron to get Mike in the Midwest every Thursday, just visit patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Social media, give us a follow on Instagram and Twitter at beourguestpod and at beourguestmike. Of course, Scott is over at Epcot and on Instagram at Palm Trees of Disney. So give him a follow over there. And we're on Facebook and YouTube, so you can subscribe over there, not miss any live shows. And speaking of live shows, We'll be back again this Sunday night, and I promise you, you'll be able to hear Scott because I figured it all out, of course, 15 minutes after last Sunday night's live show. We got it all squared away. So give us a call Sunday night on Facebook and YouTube, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. All right, we're going to be back again on Friday. We are going to talk about outside dining because it's that time of year, right? I mean, it's beautiful down in Walt Disney World. Some folks still would rather eat outside than inside. We're going to go around and give some options. If you want to have some good food and some fresh air, we've got you squared away. This one's for Megan. All right, we are going to be back then. So until then, for Scott, I'm Mike, wishing you a great Wednesday. Time to head back to work, and we'll see you real soon. Save that bad dog.
Was I sounding okay?
Yeah, you started kind of fading the video, but it was fine.
Yeah.
The audio.
Okay, yeah, because like my network bar in the upper corner of the network quality was on the one bar, like it was red the whole time.
The B Live bar went to 1 too on my end. But
okay, so maybe that's what it was. Yeah, now it's like now it's like 4 bars, so it's a lot better.
Mine's 5. I don't know what because I don't even know what that means. Okay, 1584. Save that. Still light outside, and we're doing the second show. Spring is coming. Thank God. So sick of winter. Thank you, Julie. Yeah, Scott will let you know. But yeah, honestly, I would ask for a golf course view room.
Yeah, so cool. I love the golf course room. That used to be an option when you would do online check-in, but it's not anymore. Now it's just like, which floor do you want, basically?
Don't book one where Scott is playing because I've seen him smoke some villas. Because if you're having your coffee out on your deck, maybe it helps.
I'm telling you, like, so in Google Photos, like, this is how deep I'm getting into my like dive into it. Like, I'm putting like room numbers for like views for hotels or resorts. So
you're going to take on touring plans.
Yes, yeah, so I could put like room 4232, and like all my photos from that room will pop up at Old Key West. So I'll be able to find like a good recommendation.
Great idea. I like that. That's a lot of work. That's great.
It's a lot of upfront work though, man. And like, it's only good for me. Like, I'm the only one who gets any enjoyment out of it.
That is awesome. All right. Let me pull up that website real quick.
Yeah, I want a list.
Under dining. Let's see. The Mouse for Less, Walt Disney World. Dining. Man, I'm hungry. I just had a salad for lunch. I'm just dying. Walt Disney World dining. Where's the list, Ricky? Where's the list? Where's the title? Walt Disney World reopening dining information. So I guess these are the ones that are open. Landscape of Flavors, Yacht Club. Yeah, it looks right. Okay. Available dining locations. Cinderella's Royal Table's open?
Yeah, it is.
Oh. I know that. Crystal Palace. Dang, there's a lot of them, so yeah, we're gonna have to kind of fire through these, not mention everyone.
Not many of them have outdoor seating, I feel like. So
yeah, that's true. That's true.
I have a couple ideas.
We'll start with the parks and we'll go to the resorts. We'll do that. Okay. Yes, Jennifer, there you go. Senior pictures on a Disney Cruise Line ship. That's how you do it. Heck yeah, those would be sweet. Oh, look at that. Joe's got a touring plans account, so she just needs she'll see that she'll do her she'll let touring plans do the pictures and just give her the number and she'll know what it looks like.
I've done that. There's Joe from Joe Fickus actually found one of my photos on touring plans and suggested the exact room because of my photo I had out there at the Polynesian.
Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. 1856. Welcome to episode 1856 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com. It's a sweet little website. Check it out if you ever just want to grab the show without downloading. It's a very mobile-friendly website, so BeOurGuestPodcast.com. Check that out. But of course, we are here on a Friday. We're wrapping up the week, and we were all talking over on Discord earlier, and listener Megan is headed down to Walt Disney World here soon, and she's more comfortable with outdoor dining. And you know what? I love talking Disney dining. I love talking being outside at Walt Disney World, and somebody else that likes that just as much as my good buddy Scott up in the mitten. Hashtag Scotty G. What is going on? Happy Friday, Scott.
Happy Friday, Mike. Glad we made it through the end of another week. And there's nothing more that I enjoy than outdoor dining. Like, I love being outdoors, having a good meal, having great conversations with family and friends. So let's do it. I love this topic.
Right. You know who first kind of got me onto this idea? Because there's so many fun places to eat inside at Walt Disney World because of themed restaurants. I mean, if you're eating at, say, Pecos Bills at the Magic Kingdom, it's kind of cool inside. It's dark and you feel like you're kind of in a cave or, some kind of a hideout. And, of course, we talk about how neat it is to eat in Columbia Harbor House up over the kind of Fantasyland Bridge by the Haunted Mansion. I mean, there's a lot of great places to eat inside. But Pam Forrester a few years ago really kind of sold me on the idea of when you are from a place like Pittsburgh or St. Louis or Lansing, Michigan, that if you get the opportunity to eat outside in beautiful weather, you should always seize that opportunity. And right now, of course, COVID times, a lot of people feel safer outside, but right now we're moving into like March, April, May. I mean, it does not get any better than Orlando this time of year.
Yep, totally agree. Even at home, like in the summertime here in Michigan, like we'll go to a hostess stand and they'll say, do you want to eat inside or outside? We just kind of look at each other like, okay, 2 months from now, we'll be regretting if we don't eat outside right now. So like any opportunity that we can, we always sit outside. It's just something great about it.
All right. So today's show has two goals. One is to kind of inform and just maybe get you thinking about a place, maybe one or two places that you didn't think about for your next trip that you might want to try eating outside. And also, hey, it's Friday. It's the weekend. Maybe you're going for a long run. I hate when people talk about food and I'm on a 50-mile run, but hey, here we are. We're going to get you going. And then you're going to run straight to McDonald's after this show.
There you go.
Okay. So we'll go theme parks first and we'll talk about places, both counter service and table service. Table service, a little bit more challenging. Scott and I were talking about that last night. A lot of table service though restaurants will give you good options for dining outside. So I'll just let you start, Scott. So when we go to the Magic Kingdom, what are we looking at for places where you can dine outside and still get a decent meal?
So I've done this at the one time I've ate at this restaurant and I tried to time it perfectly to see the Main Street Electrical Parade and eat outside. And that was Tony's Town Square.
Me too.
It's the only time I've ever eaten there. So I don't even know what it's like inside at that restaurant, to be honest. I just wanted to have a nice meal and to be able to see the parade. And it was perfect. It was actually chilly when we did it, but that's a cool spot to be outside. Like you see people either leaving or people coming in. Like you might see all sorts of different like emotions. It could be a guest's first time, so you're seeing like all the excitement in a guest, like, I don't know. It's a cool place that people watch and you can have a meal. So that would be the number one spot for me for table service for sure. Cause I think it might be the only table service option at Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, same. And we're talking about places that are open right now. We're using the site over on the mouseforless.com. If you go into the dining under Walt Disney World, you can see what's open now and, modified experiences for some character, places that are typically character meals. I would agree. Back in the day, I remember sitting there with Mallory when she was little. Because I have the pictures, like there's bottles. I saw the picture just the other day in Google Photos. There's bottles sitting on our table. We're out on the patio and we're watching Spectral Magic go by. So it was awesome. I mean, think about it too. If you do it around dinner time, you could see the flag retreat ceremony in Town Square. Now, of course, you might want to obviously pause your dinner and kind of watch that. It's a solemn event, but that's something you can see. But it is, I mean, for me, the excitement of eating outside of Walt Disney World is being able to watch like the hustle and bustle of the park while you're having a meal. So that's a good place. And the food's not bad. It's not great. It's not bad.
Yeah, I don't remember it being great, but I do not judge a place on just one meal, even if it's a signature place or a Tony's, so I would have to give it another shot, but yeah, it's fine.
So I think that might be the only location that is table service at the Magic Kingdom currently where you could have a sit down meal, but there are lots and lots of options for quick counter service. So you got like this Tomorrowland Terrace it's outside, right? I mean, it's tucked away kind of under that overhang. So you got that. I'm trying to get some of my favorites. Pecos Bills, some outdoor seating.
I got a great place for what we're seeing right now. So Casey's is closed. Because normally like the seating outside of Casey's is great. You're looking right at the castle. You're right there in the hub. So one of our workarounds is let's grab a Starbucks or let's grab some egg rolls from the egg roll cart there in Adventureland and take it over to the seating over there and just like soak in the sights and sound of Main Street there over by Casey's. That's a great spot to sit and enjoy a meal.
That is a great spot. You're exactly. It's, Tomorrowland Terrace would be easy to grab your food right there and just down the ramp. So let's see, what else do we have? Pecos Bills, obviously, with tables outside, and they're kind of tucked away. I like eating at those tables that are kind of they're facing like Splash Mountain over on the Frontierland side, and they're just kind of, it's almost like you're in a kind of like a little patio or something.
Yes, that's a good spot.
See what else. What are we missing? Cosmic Rays has some outdoor seating. You got to kind of look for it. It's kind of tucked away, but there are a few tables outside there.
You could even take so we did this on our last visit. It was a crowded day at the Magic Kingdom, but we found, and I feel like this is new for COVID, but maybe they're always there, but like kind of by the Christmas shop in like Liberty Square, that we found like some picnic tables that were set out. So we went to, I think it was like the Liberty Tree Market or whatever that, or the Liberty Square Market, and grabbed like a pretzel and a hot dog, and we just took it over there, and there was no one around us, Mike. It was like the most quiet. It's like we had the Magic Kingdom to ourselves. It was unreal. So it was a great quiet spot tucked away over there.
Also, anti-gravities under the Astro Orbiter over in Tomorrowland. You can grab a sweet cream, one of my favorite things, sweet cream pretzel. And there's other things there. Just trying to go through here. Of course, Friar's Nook, when it's open in Fantasyland, you can grab some. There are a few tables there, but there's not many. There's probably 10 or less.
Yeah, not many.
Area.
I have a great photo of you just sitting on a chair from there with like no table.
Yeah, over exactly. I remember that. Yeah, it was like there's no table. I was just like sitting there.
Giant guy, it's not giant, but like a 6'4" guy sitting on the tiniest chair, like in the middle of like Fantasyland. It's the funniest photo ever.
Yep, my knees up in my chin. What about Liberty Square Market? They have some options because they just redid that whole area, but I think there are some nice outdoor tables over there now.
Yeah, yep, there are. And that's kind of what I was just talking about, except we cut over and went to a quieter spot because the birds are crazy out there. That's one thing you got to worry about with outdoor dining. Like you could get attacked by some birds for sure.
Especially at water parks. I'm just saying they devour food at water parks.
And there's a theme here you'll see is that most counter service, especially in the theme parks, actually even at the resorts too, have outdoor seating. Because I think they're more popular, right? More people are going to be drawn to those, especially like in the morning for breakfast or like a lunch. So they have to have additional seating, and most of that additional seating is outside, which I love. I'm a big fan of.
All right, real quick. So we have Pinocchio's Village House with some outdoor seating, not bad. Sleepy Hollow's got that tucked away behind it, outdoor seating, which is kind of nice. So those are some options for Magic Kingdom. We won't keep moving. So we're going to hit some of the resorts too after we do the theme parks. Okay, so now you get to Epcot. Epcot has quite a few options if you're counter service, but what about, did you see anything on here that kind of stuck out as far as table service?
I think of like Spice Row Table, maybe. I know like that's going through a lot of changes, seen some menu changes. I'm actually excited. So Mike, like those things that we like at Food and Wine in Morocco are at the Spice Row Table now.
The soft tacos.
Yeah.
I didn't know what they were.
The Kefka pocket and like the hummus fries. Like I believe you can get those now at Spice Row Table out there. And how is that not I've never been there, but like the setting just seems so awesome to me. So that would be my top choice.
Yeah, I agree. And also Rose and Crown. Now I think Rose and Crown just went down for a refurb, but they have great outdoor seating for the table service restaurant.
It's funny, like we've been there maybe like, I don't know, almost 10 times, maybe a dozen times. And only once have we ever sat inside. And that was during COVID. It was kind of weird. Like now we're going to be seated inside, but great outdoor seating at Rose and Crown.
Okay. So let's go through, I'm just going through the list here and I'm just going to call off places that I see have outdoor dining options. What about, because now we kind of moved to the counter service. You have the Regal Eagle, has a lot of outdoor seating right there, the American Adventure Pavilion, and good food. I mean, that's a hearty meal.
Yeah. You know what one of our favorites is, Mike, is in Mexico. It's hard to get, and that's one thing I'll say too with outdoor seating, especially in the COVID world with the physical distancing, less tables that are open. So Mexico is one spot. It is so tough to get a table at. You just have to stare people down and like force them out of their table, basically.
Well, nowadays, like you turn the corner, like from the path from Future World to World Showcase. And as soon as you hit like the what's that little store there, as you kind of go into World Showcase, like that's where the line starts to get in, the cantina now. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
And Pam in the live chat, I love this. She says, does San Angel Inn count as outdoor dining? Well, it's kind of fake outdoor dining. Like you feel like you're outside, but you're inside.
There you go. Oh, yeah, I like that.
Oh, yeah, it's kind of fake. Let's see. One of my favorites at Epcot, again, counter service Katsura Grill in Japan. It's gorgeous. It's tucked away. It's beautiful. It's shady. The food's really good. Now, I'm not a fancy like Japanese food person, but I think it's great.
I love it.
Top place to go.
At our last visit, we were actually talking about that. We were listening to the show, a friend of ours, Beth, and she had never been back in that area before. And it just like blew me away. Like, oh my gosh. Like, because it is kind of tucked away back there, but yeah, that's a great spot. Speaking of like Rose and Crown, like I'm not sure if it's a relaxation station anymore, but like there's a great like waterside like tables over there too if you want to just go to the fish and chip stand too.
My whole life is that I will get something in World Showcase, my girls will get something somewhere else, and we have to meet in the middle, which is just such a bummer. Like, I mean, I get it, and if you're a parent, you probably have had to do this. Well, maybe not. But it's such a bummer. Like, I wish my whole family could just eat at one place and just sit down and enjoy it. But that's me. What about the Kabuki Cafe? What's that? I don't even know what that is. It's on the list. Yeah. Okay, I'll click the link. Let's see. I'll be a sucker. Let's see. Kabuki Cafe is it's the place where you get your snow cones.
Oh my God, that's like my favorite spot.
Yeah, exactly. That's your place. Yeah, exactly.
And you can get the frozen beer there too.
Yes. Okay. So let's see. So you got the bakery in Norway. You could sit down and have. I think they have outdoor seating. Not much, but there's a little bit. Kind of. Is there not like? Yeah, there is. There's like I've eaten outside there. There's probably 10 tables or less.
Yeah.
Not many.
China, the counter service at China has some. It's kind of like it's covered. It's kind of weird. It feels like it's indoor, but it's open air. So it's like a hybrid.
So anything back in France, like the ice cream shop, there's not many though. There's high competition for those tables back there. But also if you go into the patisserie, that's inside though, right? Because it's inside the store.
It's inside. It's inside. There's air coming in, but yeah,
not a whole.
Those seats are really like prime real estate in France. Yeah. Those are so hard to get
because you look fancy. That's why
you do. You got to have a baguette though. That's the rule. You have to have a baguette in your hand.
That's right. You have to have something in your mouth. Let's see. So we did special table. Sunshine Seasons is way, huge room, but it's inside. What about Tutto Gusto? Is that out? Do they have any outside seating? No, none at all.
I think it's mostly indoors. There might be like a little bit that's outside because that's one thing I was going to hit upon too. A lot of the lounges are outside, and I'm going to be very heavy on the lounges once we get to the resorts and such too. But yeah.
All right, so we got in Yorkshire County Fish Shop again. That's a place to go, and you can just take.
Yeah, I'm not looking at your list. I'm sorry. I'm just like trying to think of stuff.
Okay, so now let's go to the studios. So what are you thinking of the studios for outdoor dining? Is there any? Yeah, I can think of one that has outdoor seating for table service. Well, it's what you said. The lounge. It's
the lounge. The Brown Derby Lounge is the ultimate. I love that spot. They have a couple great sliders. There's some great cocktails. You hear Pam Forrester talk about it all the time. That's just one of my favorite spots to be.
So what else? Where would you, if you were kind of guiding folks to eat outside at the studios, where would you point them?
Well, that would be number one for me. But I kind of like, gosh, Mike, we go there all the time, but the menu's not that great. But the Backlot Express, right, is like a good outdoor dining area.
There's not much there's just not a lot of options at the studio. Yeah. What I do is I get on the Skyliner and go to a hotel that's on the Skyliner.
ABC Commissary has some seats outdoors too. Yeah. The thing with this though, if you're doing your mobile ordering, you have to pick up your tray, so you do have to go inside at all these counter service places in most cases, and then take it back outside. So just something to think about.
Right.
Oh, Baseline Tap House. Alfred just said in the chat, I love that. I love that spot. I make reels out there of beer flights.
Yes, we did. So Docking Bay 7. Well, that whole area, there are some. Actually, Docking Bay 7 does have it's almost like a little tucked away. It's kind of like Pecos Bills, like a little tucked away patio with some, like strings with stuff hanging down over top. That's pretty nice. And of course, Ronto, you can eat Toronto wraps and stuff outside there too.
And Woody's has some too. Like those tables are really hard to come by, but Woody's has some too.
All right. I'm trying to think here. Anything else? Pizza Rizzo has some outdoor seating, correct? Maybe.
Yes.
They used to. Is it still there?
Yeah, I think it's still there. Yeah, it's definitely there. I'm picturing it now. Yep, for sure.
And of course, the ultimate, if you're counter servicing on Sunset Boulevard, you got Rosie's and all those seats. And actually, I saw just yesterday as we're recording this that they've now put tables up right out almost up to the point of Beauty and the Beast Theater for like overflow outdoor seating. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. So this kind of goes on what we were saying earlier. Like a lot of most counter services offers that extended outdoor seating, which is really great. And you don't need an ADR for it. You can mobile order. So it becomes really, really beneficial. Once we get to the resorts, we'll be talking a little bit more about table services that you can eat outdoors.
Yep. Okay. So quickly at Animal Kingdom, now a lot of options for counter service at Animal Kingdom and high quality counter service outdoor dining options over there. What stands out to you? Because most counter services you can eat outside over there.
So the one that always stands out to me is Flame Tree. I just love, and it goes so deep and so far back. Like you can find some you can find some quiet time. We gotta watch out for the birds there again too. And so it's funny. I talk about how much I love to eat outdoors, but I usually like to eat indoors here because sometimes it's just too blazing hot where you just want to be indoors and catch some AC. But Satuli Canteen has a really nice outdoor area too that's really shaded to eat outdoors for.
Right. Harambe Market, another just big kind of, it's almost like an outdoor food court. Like there's stations. Kind of, if you think about the logistics of the place, that's got decent food. I mean, the thing was like, it was really popular and really kind of going to be the new thing. And then all of a sudden Satuli Canteen took it over.
Yeah. And then you can't forget about the lounges, man. Nomad Lounge is a great spot.
Does Rhinosaurus have outdoor seating? I'm trying to think because we always used to eat. That's the place where you can eat in the Airstream, right? That was always our goal, was to eat in the Airstream.
That is a place I have never been.
I've only been a couple times, both times in the Airstream.
But I've been to like is it like Dino Bites or Dino? There's some kind of like counter service or like not counter service, like a snack stand.
Yeah. And
I've gotten like over Christmas time, I got this like peppermint chocolate Christmas thing or whatever. And they had some seating over there too, which is really nice. Nice and shaded.
Yep. And you got Yak and Yeti. The counter service has a lot of seating on the side and even in the back. If you go all the way to the back, and it's kind of shady back there. If you look for a couple spots,
I think there's a good highly rated SG restroom back there too, if I recall.
Yeah, there goes hidden. I don't think Yak and Yeti table service. I don't know why I'm picturing like a balcony, but I think it might be just aesthetics. I don't think you can eat outside.
I don't think you can.
Oh, I got to get back. I need to get back to these places. So there you go. So, okay, so that is what we have. Well, let's hit Disney Springs. Now, Disney Springs probably is if you want to eat outside, go to Disney Springs. And this is where you can actually have table service dining outside. So first of all, we're just going to go through a bunch of them. I'm going to throw out Boathouse. Great food, great views, great service. I mean, this is a win all the way around. So let's just hit some of the places. So Boathouse is what I
Homecoming is another one. They've expanded some outdoor seating. I remember we had a big group of maybe like 12 to 15 of us that ate outside for homecoming brunch. And that was perfect. That was one of the best meals ever.
Yeah, one of my favorite meals I've had at outside at Disney Springs, Frontier Cochina. It's the Mexican place. Again, it's like a deck, just water under you. It's just a gorgeous place, and the food is really you don't hear much about it, but it's good.
Yeah. So Boathouse is my favorite. And then I'm going to go to a little counter service here. So if you're driving, you park at the line garage, you do your temperature check, you're getting to the escalator to go down, and all of a sudden you get this great smell. And you're like, what is that?
PP.
Yep. And you smell like it's barbecue. Then you look to your right and you're like, oh my gosh, Polite Pig. We got to go there first. Boom. I love Polite Pig. They have a great outdoor little bar area, like a bourbon bar, and lots of great seating. That is a great spot to be.
Polite Pig and Flame Tree, they get you with the smell. Like it's like a cartoon, like the old Bugs Bunny cartoon. All of a sudden, like you're following your nose, like you're up on your tippy toes and you're eating. That's how it is.
I believe Wine Bar George has like a balcony, like upstairs, like dining. I've only been inside there, but I'm pretty sure Wine Bar George also has some outdoor seating.
Yeah, I think so too. Morimoto Asia. Actually, this was during that media event. They have a nice, it's kind of a second story, like balcony. This is where I ate for that one, just because of where my table was, where I was assigned, but it was beautiful. And it's, I haven't been back since that thing, but I need to go back to Morimoto's. It's great. It's expensive. That's why I haven't been back. But
Disney Springs is great. Like,
man,
isn't it so great? Like for just the dining and lounging. I'm going back to the counter service here, but Chicken Guy also has some outdoor seating. It can get hot though, man. If you're eating like chicken wings and it's a summer day, like I don't recommend that.
We've eaten there because when we were down for cheer, we just walked from the B over to Disney Springs every day to eat. And Chicken Guy was a place we went twice, and it was hot. It was not shaky. No. Real quick, I was gonna say I had one. Where'd it go? Oh, Splitsville. A lot of outdoor kind of the same thing like Morimoto, like a second story covered outside dining. And you're thinking bowling alley, but I mean, we've said this many times, and you hear this on social media. Their food's good. It's good.
Yeah. I might lose my Disney card here by confessing this. I'm almost sure you can eat out here, and I don't think it's even open right now. But Paddlefish would be another one, but I don't believe it's open at the moment.
It might be.
Okay.
Maybe because I thought I saw them post something on social media the other day, but I'm not sure because I, again, haven't been there since it became Paddlefish. But I know you can eat up on the roof, and that's outside for sure.
And your spot, Mike, has the spot you always want to go to. I call it the Applebee's of Disney Springs. Very decent.
I'm going, baby. I'm going to be there for real when we go down for cheerleading. I'm going to top it off by eating at Applebee's at Disney Springs.
You probably have a nice big margarita there too, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I mean, it's got a menu of everything. It is. It's Applebee's. So those are some options over at Disney Springs. There are other ones. We're just, we can't.
We got confirmation that Paddlefish is open though. So gotta love the live chat. The listeners are the best.
Bailing us out. That's exactly right. Thanks, Diane. Okay, so let's hit the resorts. Okay, let's go through the Animal Kingdom Lodge Villas because that's one. Let's see. Anything outside there? No. I mean, you could take your stuff from the Mara's open, so I guess you could take that. Again, at resorts, though, you have like poolside tables where you can take any kind of counter service food and eat it outside.
Yeah, for sure.
So that'd be like Landscape of Flavors. It does have tables outside. Same for Pop Century's food court. You take it and go outside. Over at Yacht and Beach Club, Beaches and Cream. That's a good option. There's a few again, but this is probably poolside tables, right?
So Beaches and Cream is doing something really weird right now. And this due to limited seating, physical distancing. Those tables that they normally have outside where you can just take your ice cream and just sit there. They're actually reserving those for the restaurant now.
Good idea.
Staff is actually coming outside at those tables that are up along the fence over like Stormalon Bay. So it's kind of interesting. It's a cool workaround, but that would be a cool place to eat outside.
That's a great idea though. They should keep that because otherwise it's just kind of like people waiting for their tables, but they're actually generating revenue and they need that right now. So
they need it right now.
Let's see. I'm trying to think what else over at Yacht and Beach. I think that's it. I mean, you got Hurricane Hannah's.
And you just take it to poolside, right? Or back to your room or whatever.
I had a good burger there one time. You wouldn't think so, but it was pretty good.
So this is kind of a funny story, kind of unrelated here, but I was like chasing a storm one morning recently at the yacht club. Like, I think you may have saw some of my videos. It was a crazy lightning storm. So I was like trying to get all this photos and videos of the storm in the morning. It was kind of crazy. Then later that day I stormed along and went to Hurricane Hannah's and they had a drink called Storm Chaser. So I had to get it. And it was delicious.
I'm not getting this guy. $12 drink. No, here, let's see. So now Boardwalk is a great option for dining outside because they do have tables all throughout the boardwalk. It's beautiful. And now, of course, the weather depends, but you got a lot to see, a lot of action, people walking, coming and going, but you're spaced out very well.
Yep.
And you could, of course, get the pizza window. You can eat at the Boardwalk Bakery. I don't know. When you were there, were those like the funnel cake cart, like the fried food?
Those weren't open.
That's probably better for everybody.
But what just opened like last week, like last Sunday, Big River Grill reopened, and that has some outdoor seating. Only times we've been there we've always eaten outside.
And the Abracadabra bar. Well, what about because I guess that's the pizza window because right in front of Trattoria Al Forno and the pizza window, there are some outdoor seating, but that goes to Trattoria, right?
I don't think it normally does, but right now under like COVID, trying to physical distance and try to open up as many tables as they can, they're using that space for that restaurant right now. I could be wrong here. I know our listeners will bail us out, but I don't think it's normally used for that, but it is right now for sure.
I know they do have tables out there though for something. Like there are tables right in that kind of that end of the boardwalk before you get to like return into the
And I think ESPN used to have tables outside. I know there's tables there, or maybe that was for like taking your ice cream over to having to sit, you know what I mean? Or taking your pizza over there.
Oh, Ample Hills.
I know, I had to do it, man.
Oh my God. Okay, Caribbean Beach. So you got the Banana Cabana, of course, that has some outdoor seating. And the food court, you can take it outside too. I mean, not much going on. Centertown Market.
Sebastian's does not have outdoor Not that I recall. Gosh, I hope it reopens though. Like we had a great meal there. It's weird though. Like I don't do when you were staying there. Did you run by like Sebastian's and the pool area? Because they had like all this extra seating like set up. It made me think like they were going to reopen it, but that was a few months ago and it still hasn't been opened yet.
I did run past there and I thought that they were doing something to prepare for it, but again, I haven't heard anything. I haven't been there since it reopened. I haven't eaten there. I would like to. Okay, Contemporary Bay Lake Tower. Give us some. Is there anything? Of course, like Chef Mickey's, no. California Grill, no. The Wave, no. Is there anything outside over there? Contemple Cafe, no, because it's up on the. It's on. You would think they might be able to have like something outside, but again, I think it's because it's on that like third level.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Except just taking like a glass of wine out onto the California Grill deck. That's about it.
Or you got that little balcony that's like on the fourth level.
Yeah, it's on the fourth.
Yeah. It's
weird. It's like on the fourth floor at Contemporary, but it's like the fifth floor on the Bay Lake Tower side. It's really weird.
It is still messed up.
Yeah.
Okay. Coronado Springs, though, pretty good options. You got the Three Bridges. That is a great place to dine outside. Really, decent food, great views out over the water. The Siestas Cantina. That is the pool bar by the dig site.
I love that place. Like that's where you get like that fiesta, like a fiesta margarita, I think.
Yeah, it's like the one in Mexico, and they also have warm empanadas. I always get those to go along with it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, El Mercado del Coronado, kind of the food court. They have a few tables outside, right outside the doors there. So
yeah, I remember waiting a rainstorm out there playing a game of scrap or categories with the Foresters. We weren't eating, but we were just playing games. It's fun.
That's what it's all about. Okay, what about Fort Wilderness? You were just over there. Options for dining outside? Anything?
So there's what it's called, like P&J's or PJ's
takeout. It says.
Yeah. So you can definitely take it out. What's interesting about that? We went there like around Thanksgiving time. We got this awesome like Thanksgiving sandwich and feast, and you can actually take it inside to Trails End. Like they're using Trails End's restaurant for seating. I know that's indoors, but I thought that was actually kind of cool. But yeah, there's definitely places you can take it outside too. Maybe sit in a rocking chair and have a meal. That'd be kind of fun.
Oh yeah. And there's picnic tables too. If you go over kind of towards the
the beach area, kind of, or where you want the sand area.
Yeah. Okay. Grand Floridian. We were talking about this, I think, before we started recording. Gasparillas, again, counter service, but you were eating at Narcoossee's in December. I was waiting for you to finish your meal. I was just hungry. I've been to the Magic Kingdom riding rides, got a burger and fries, and sat outside right outside Gasparillas at night. Oh my gosh. It was so great because it wasn't cold. It was dark, and I was just able to, you can see the castle even. I mean, you can see the pools. It was just, God, that was a great, hamburger great because I was not in Missouri and I was eating a hamburger outside in Florida.
This might make it busier, which is totally fine with me by saying this, but when I'm at Magic Kingdom, I love taking a boat over to the Grand Floridian and having that be like our counter service lunch, and you get away from like how hectic Magic Kingdom is. You go over, take a nice boat ride, and then you just sit outside. You're looking at the water. You're looking at the castle. That's one of my favorite spots right there.
Does Grand Floridian Cafe have a few tables outside? I don't think, do they, or no? Or is that just seats outside, not for the restaurant? I think
it's just seats outside. I could be wrong. I've never been seated outside, and I've been there many times. So I think they're just for guests that just sit outside or maybe take their Gasparillas food over there.
All right, here is the number one, in my opinion, the number one place to dine outside.
It's probably mine too.
Yeah, it's Olivia's. It's the patio at Olivia's. Now, most of Olivia's is inside, Old Key West, of course. But I think what it is for me is that we've had so many great meals there with all of our big group, like with the Foresters, your family, our family, Ricky's been, just lots of different folks have dined. We've dined together there. And it to me, it reminds me a lot of my grandparents had a sun deck and a gazebo. And it has that same vibe, right? It's just comfortable. It's good comfort food, and it's just there's a few nice drinks on the menu, and just God, it's beautiful, right? And plus, again, it's the same thing, kind of like eating at Tony's Town Square on the gazebo. There is that you see people coming and going, you hear their conversations for a brief moment. You have the water right there. It's really got everything to me.
Yeah, it might be number 2 for me though. I mean, I love everything about what you just said. We have so many great big group meetings, outings there. I remember before my first marathon, before your first dopey, we had some cocktails out there with dinner.
It was stupid, yes, but we made it somehow.
We made it. But when you get to the W's on your list, that's where my number 1 is going to be.
I got you. Okay, we're getting close. Oh, Polynesian. You got Captain Cook's. That's a good table service option. A great place to sit outside.
Love eating outside there. Like, because again, you're getting like another castle view. You're getting like the water. Just there's something about that. It's so nice. And then I know Trader Sam's is the hot item to be like indoors. But like I love drinking outdoors at Trader Sam's too. That's fun.
Yeah, either way is there. I love the stool though. That just sinks.
The stool that sinks, I know.
Greatest gag ever, especially at a place where you're drinking, because you're like, is that really happening, or I'm done? I can't drink anymore. I think people are falling off stools. Okay, of course, Pop Century, you can get everything popped and just eat outside. You got Pedals Pool Bar. There's really no food there, but you can drink outside. What about the Riv? We were talking about this one before we started recording. Yes, this is a great place to eat outside.
Primo Friata is a great outdoor seating. I just love it. That's one of the best counter service meals ever. Like that burger's so good. You think about the breakfast sandwich. Oh my gosh. I love it. And what's funny is when we were staying there recently, we're in the 1 bedroom. We talked about a 1 bedroom recommendation there on Wednesday's show. And we would just take it and go back up to our room and sit on your balcony, or sit at if you're in the 1 bedroom, you get that little table there, which is really nice. So great spot.
Yeah, but there are great tables. There's not a lot of them. There's probably, what would you say, between outside of Primo Piazza, maybe 6 to 8 tables?
Yeah, it's not many, which is unfortunate. But man, if you can snag one of those, like, it's jackpot.
It is. It's just pretty.
Actually, though, when you think about it, now that close by, there's not that many. But if you go out towards like the Skyliner, kind of like over by the pool and the water, there's some good seating out there too, which is kind of like waterside dining, which is really nice.
True. Make your own waterfront diet. That's true. Yeah. Okay. Here's what I haven't eaten here in forever, over at Saratoga, but I think that there are some outdoor tables at the little, because we played golf there that one time. We had artist
palette, or
palette. Yeah.
Yep. There are. The Turf Club, which isn't even open right now, but I don't believe I never actually dined there, but I don't believe they have outdoor seating. And they could, though. I could be wrong.
All right, let's close it up with Wilderness Lodge. Where are you dining outside over there?
That's my number one, Geyser Point. That is a great spot. Now, it's close between Olivia's. Olivia's, obviously, you get like more of a full menu, Geyser's Point, there's some great food options, but it's more like a lounge, more for cocktails. But sitting there, like with Bay Lake breeze catching you, like in some, comfortable outdoor patio furniture, like that is number one for me. That's a great spot.
All right, so that kind of that is kind of a quick primer on just things to think about if you want to dine outside, either counter service or table service. Resorts, the theme parks, Disney Springs. So if you had to just off the top of your head, it's a fun exercise. Top 3, I'm with you. I would go Olivia's 1, Geyser Point. I'm trying to think what I'd put as my 3. My 3 would be Beaches and Cream. So those would be my top. I go Olivia's, Geyser Point, Beaches and Cream. Give your top 3 if you had to pick them.
Geyser Point, Olivia's. Maybe Three Bridges would be on here. Like, I'm gonna lose my Disney card here too. I haven't been yet. We haven't stayed at Coronado, and it's kind of challenging to get there because you need a reservation to really get through the gates. So my number 3 is one of my favorite restaurants, the Boathouse. Just love being outside at the Boathouse.
Good call. All right, so here's what we're gonna do, because Scott and I, of course, you're getting all kinds of Scott and Mike this week, but this is how it is. Pam and Ricky will be back next week, but Sunday nights, that's always Mike, Scott, and you. We take your calls. We talk about the news and stuff, but this Sunday night, we want to hear your top 3 places to dine outside when you call in a couple nights here. So kind of get that ready. Think about it over the weekend. If you're running, my apologies again, dude. People do it to me all the time, and I'm running my runs, and somebody talks about dining for 45 minutes. It's killing me. But I guarantee if you're running, you have top 3. You're like, oh man, you missed this place. You didn't talk it up enough. That's what we're going to hear Sunday night. We're going to help each other plan better trips. So this Sunday night, 7:00 Eastern, 6:00 Central, YouTube and Facebook. Give us your top 3 outside dining locations, because this is the time to dine outside. Now, July, it's a challenge, right? It's hot, but man, April, March, May, telling you, eat outside. All right. That is going to do it for today's show. Don't forget, of course, we're always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. Like I said on Wednesday, drop by the site, check out all the specials. We can book you down there. Hey, if you want to have lunch outside next week at Walt Disney, we can do that. We can take care of you right away. Or you want to book one for, trip for June of 2022. We can do that now too. It's kind of crazy times. We can book all this huge span of dates, and we'd love to help you do that. So just drop by the Magic for Less while you're there. Fill out that free, no obligation quote form, mention the show, and it'll come right to me, and we'll plan that trip together. We'll look at availability, pricing, and just go from there. So check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Also, please use our Amazon affiliate link anytime you shop online. It really does help. The free way to support the show, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And finally, a huge shout out to our patrons. Thank you so much for helping out with the show as travel is down and it is picking back up. So things are looking good. But thank you so much for that support. Mike in the Midwest coming your way every Thursday. Just visit patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Of course, give us a follow on Instagram and Twitter at beourguestmike and at beourguestpod. And of course, you can catch Scott over at Epcot and on Instagram at Palm Trees of Disney. You need to give that a follow. All right, Scott, anything else? Anything you want to plug for the weekend? Anything going on?
I'm just hungry. I'm ready to eat outdoors. I'm ready. You sold it so well. I'm ready to book a trip right now.
Same. All right, we're going to get back together on Sunday night. We hope you will join us, and we'll have some fun Disney conversation for an hour on Facebook and YouTube, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, Sunday night. Give us a call. We want to talk Disney with you. So for Scott, I'm Mike, wishing you a great Friday. Time to get back to work and wrap up that week, and we'll see you real soon. Good stuff. We got through a lot there.
Dude,
all right.
I know we just like went. I'm sure I'm thinking of something really great though that I may have missed or should be in my top 3, but it's hard to beat. Guys are pointing Olivia's and Boathouse though. I'm just saying.
Oh my gosh, those are perfect. Yeah, they are. All right, so real quick, Mike said he had a question here. Fast mode transportation outside of rental to get to the Magic Kingdom from Pop.
Might be a bus.
Second day, want to do park hoppers. We'll do Epcot. It's our first 5. We're frequent Disneyland, so everything feels different, new to us. So our second day, we do park hopper and split Hollywood Studios and end with Epcot. Yeah, I would end at Epcot because you got more dining.
I think ending at Epcot is going to be like everyone's strategy because of the way the park hours are set up too. It stays open the latest,
and I think
usually.
Well, Disney wants you to end at Epcot because that's where you can eat, right? They
Yeah.
want you to go there and have table service meals,
so you can eat outdoors.
Yeah, exactly it. Hey, Mike, bro.
I mean, Epcot is all outdoors when you think about it with all the counter service.
Yeah, totally. All right. Well, hey, thanks, Scott. I appreciate it. Thanks for bailing out, and I'll talk to you.
Yeah, I'm about to go eat, but unfortunately, it's going to be indoors because it's like 25 degrees.
That'll be Taco Bell at the kitchen table. That's how I roll. All right, everybody. You have a good one, Scott.
Yeah.
All right. See you. Bye.